Hello, everyone. We are going to be doing Bible study in 5 minutes. Um, hello, Olson. It is good. It is good to have you watching. Um, that is Jonathan Pajot, but it's my version. That's Emily Verdoen, uh, stuff that I'm doing. But the one that's my background is mine. It's over in the corner there, and you can find there's a video of just me talking about it called "Circles of Creation." So if you look on my channel, Circles of Creation, you can see me talking about this art piece that I've been working on. It's behind that door. You can only see just a little corner of it. But here is the new thing. It's blank now, which it wasn't before because it was made out of pink insulation. Anyway, we're going to be talking about Second Kings chapter 1, a bonkers chapter. We'll see how that goes. I know that there's a couple of people who are normal attenders who can't make it today, so I'm hoping there's people to talk to about this, because otherwise it's just going to turn into a just chatting, and who wants that? Either way, uh, yeah, the thumbnail. The thumbnail is the one that's by me, and it's behind the door, called Circles of Creation, and that one is by me. Yeah, I'll see you guys in 5 minutes. We'll hopefully have some people forward, and then we'll talk about Second Kings, okay? Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Yourself?
I'm fine. So it's just the two of us, huh?
I think so. Unless, look, Grim is watching, he can attend. I'm sure he's going to be interested in fire falling from the sky, fire from heaven, which is, anyway, we'll not get into some of that stuff. We got people watching.
Okay.
Maybe Olson will come out, but we'll see. Do you play any musical instruments?
Yep, the clarinet
You play the clarinet. Do you?
and the bass clarinet.
And what? Sorry, what was the other one?
Bass clarinet.
Okay. Is what style? Like, are we talking jazz? Are we talking klezmer? What are?
I'm a part of orchestra that is called the orchestra, and it's the first orchestra in Israel, established in the 19th century.
Nice.
Yeah, it is wind instrument mainly.
Okay.
Also a bass guitar and a piano.
Nice. That's one of these times you're gonna have to bring out the clarinet. I'd love to hear you on it.
Yeah, yesterday I gave a concert. There were several orchestra from several satellites of Tel Aviv coming together to the fine city of Or Yehuda, which is just by the airport.
How competitive is this? Like, is this? Are you a bit like
not,
this?
not competitive, just going together.
Yeah.
And each of us gave 4 pieces. Was a nice social event, seeing all the players from all around the suburbs of Tel Aviv.
Yanni is rubbing it in that he's seen you play clarinet many more times than I have. Well,
not many.
Yeah, Yanni, you should come out. I think this is an interesting chapter. I know it's always an interesting chapter. This is one that I'm a little bit confused by, and I think people are going to be more compelled by your pushback than my push. If that makes sense.
Pushback. We are now changing books. So we are crossing the border between Kings A and Kings B.
Yes.
Question.
Do you have thoughts on that? I feel like they're one massive work.
Yes. Well, given that it is split into 2 chapters, why split at this point? Not why this moment in time?
Right. Yeah. Why? Why are we splitting
this
here?
Is an admission that King Ahav was the greatest. His demise is really an end of a book.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good point. You end on his death. But it doesn't end on his death. We were noting that. You get all these like little things that we're just like, who even cares about this?
Yeah, but that happens in all the previous books. There are always some leftovers stuck at the end.
Okay.
You can see that there are unimportant leftovers.
I love it. It's just straightforward. Unimportant leftovers. That's what Yoav thinks of you. You may be a character in the Bible, but you are considered an unimportant leftover.
Well, no character is as famous as and mentioned as so many times as you have.
Yeah. Good point. Olson, welcome. Do you have anything? Oh, you are muted. Can I unmute? Oh, no. You and me were fighting each other on that mute button.
Sorry for my finger.
Wow. You said you were not going to have a company today, did you?
Yeah. Now we got Yosef. That's beautiful.
So, Yosef, why split Kings into 2 at this point?
Sorry, I don't even know what chapter you were in.
We just finished A. Just finished Kings A and starting Kings B.
Oh, okay.
So, question, why split and why split at this point?
It is very weird, I agree. Like in the middle of the story, isn't it?
Yep. It's
Sorry, I'll have to bow out for about 5 minutes. I'll be back.
no problem.
I will say the reason I am on is because I am sick in bed, so I'm not at my total, best here, but I will do my best.
It's all right. Your not total best is at a lot of people's 115%. So accept.
So it ends with the death of Achav? No, it ends with his son.
Exactly. That would make sense. It would make so much sense if it ended with him. But what I was saying last time is that he is told it's not going to end in your kingdom, but in your sons. So it does. There's a little bit of sense made, I think, out of that where the split is. It would also make a lot of sense if it ended 2 chapters later. That it's once Elijah's gone, it's Second Kings begins with Elisha.
We're in the middle of a chiastic structure too, which is a weird place to split because we have this like parallelism of the Elijah Elisha stories, and you're in a very weird space. But I mean, who split kings? The original split was not a Jewish one. So I don't know when it was split. I think that's a Christian thing, but I don't know why. We should probably look it up.
Okay.
Just like Samuel and Ezra and Nehemiah are both single books. Kings was one book that was split much later, and I don't know why.
I was under the impression that it was that the scrolls were separated in Hebrew as well. No,
not originally.
Well, still we adapted it. We didn't have to.
Yeah, well, we adapted a lot of things when the printing.
Yeah, let's not get Yosef started on that one.
Yeah, so the whole numbering of verses. Come on.
Yeah. Yep. Kirk, welcome.
Hey, have we started reading or?
We have not started reading. You will be the one to read. We were waiting for you this entire time.
I'm honored. But seriously, before we start, can I ask Yosef a question?
Yeah, sure.
So what did you think of the thing I posted in Discord a while back?
I'm not sure which one.
The thing about the Stan Richardson document.
The what document?
The Stan Richardson document.
I'm gonna say that he doesn't exactly know what you're talking about, and so you guys should talk about this.
Yeah, I'm out of it. I don't know if you heard that I'm sick and out of it today, so I will have to jog my memory when I'm more on top of things. It appears that the answer to your question is weird, but basically it was first split in the Septuagint because the Hebrew is much more compact than Greek, and they could fit it all on one scroll, but in Greek they couldn't, so they split it. And that seems to be the answer.
I love that answer. I love that as
The
first time a Jewish text that's not the Septuagint adopts the split of the books is not until the end of the 15th century, when it's because of the printing press, and because Bamberg, who is not Jewish but is printing the text in Hebrew for the first time, is not Jewish and follows the Christian break.
That is fascinating. Also, I mean, this is a whole separate conversation thing. I love that Hebrew, like, who even cares about vowels? Are vowels really important? Like, it's the consonants where the language is at. We could just throw some dots in there. And
no, it's because when in an age, because the text for a very, very, very long time until, I don't know if it's not really the printing press, but the early kind of high Middle Age period, the text is written down is only meant to be a memory aid. So you're supposed to have it memorized, and it's the memory aid you only need consonants for memory aids. You don't need vowels. It's a waste of space. If you're actually trying to transmit new information through text alone, then maybe vowels is important. But if you aren't doing that, it's just not the purpose of the text.
Yeah, no, I get it. I also like with modern Hebrew being without vowels as well, it's fascinating to me. You would think that vowels are necessary to understand what is going on. You'd
I mean,
think. And it's just
Semitic
not the case.
Semitic languages don't agree, but they're also structured in a fundamentally different way than Indo-European,
Yeah.
so that the vowels like just work differently. Like their implications are different. I will say though, in modern Hebrew, Yoav can correct me, but I'm pretty sure when there's places where there would be a letter where the vowels would make a very big difference on how you see it. I do see in print and the stuff I look at, which is like academic-y stuff. I don't really read like a lot of news or whatever in Hebrew, but like in academic stuff, they will often put vowels under that single letter just to make sure that you understand what that word is. But it's pretty rare. I mean, we're talking about like 1 in 1,000 or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
clarify the vowels.
Well, in terms of academic stuff, the document I was referring to was the document that I was it was about the thing about language because we were talking about that because of the thing. But anyway, I think David wants us to start reading.
Yes,
Um,
I do. And I want you to
Well,
talk to Yosef on your
yeah,
own
you'll
time.
do it offline. You'll ping me or something. And I'm sick
Yes.
in bed, and I'll probably be here for at least a day or two. So now's a
Oh,
great time
yeah.
to catch me.
Kirk, this is your
we'll
time.
take some thing charts. Okay.
Yeah, bother him about it after. And I do mean, like, Yosef, I respect his opinion, and so I want you to learn from him. He's great. But now I want us to get into a fun passage. So please.
Okay. After the death of Ahab, Moab rebelled against Israel. Now Ahaziah fell through the lattice in his upper chamber in Samaria and lay sick, so he sent messengers telling them, "Go inquire of Baalzebub, the god of Ekron, whether I shall recover from the sickness." But the angel of the Lord said to Elijah the Tishbite, "Arise, go up to meet the messengers of the king of Samaria, and say to them, Is it because there is no God in Israel that you are going to inquire of Baalzebub, the god of Ekron? Now, therefore, thus says the Lord, you shall not come down from the bed to which you have gone up, but you shall surely die." So Elijah went.
Okay, let's
Can
pause there.
I just say something? In
Yeah.
the in the Hebrew, in between Kings 1 and Kings 2, I can't know if you can see it, but it's one You see where it says Kings there? Okay. So there's not even a break in the paragraph. It's literally the scroll there's no break. Sometimes they put in like a little space, like to show there's like a
Yeah.
chapter break, but
Yeah.
it's not like, it might be like just like in an inline break versus like a new line break. There's neither of those types of breaks in the Hebrew. This literally is flowing directly. But this section actually technically started on verse 52, and there's no break between it and verse 1 or whatever of Second Kings. And it's a minor break. It's not even a major break. Like it's an inline break, not a new line. So yeah, how silly this is. Um,
Very
yeah.
interesting. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I mean, there's like minimal like differences in translations and stuff, and you know,
Well,
um,
there's something here I think significant in the Hebrew that is not seen in the English,
oh
um,
yeah, that's part you want
which
to point.
is it is lining up the messengers. So in the English, now Ahaziah fell through the lattice in his upper chamber in Samaria and lay sick. So he sent messengers telling them, "Go inquire of Baal-zebub." Then the next verse, but the angel of the Lord said to Elijah the Tishbite. In Hebrew, it's battling messengers.
Yes, they're both messengers. Yep.
Yes, they're both messengers, and it's using the same Hebrew word to describe both. Like, because we have this notion of it wants to preserve the unique character seen as the angel of the Lord, the Melech Adonai, that it's blurring the it's blurring that these things are the same.
Yeah, it's also so there's that. I mean, there's a whole bunch of like little things here, right? So there's so he falls out his window. Eliyahu's commanded to go up. So there's kind of this like vertical motion that's like inverted. There's he's having them go to Baal Zavuv, which is a euphemism, right? So this is Beelzebub in English or whatever, Baal
Yeah.
Zavuv. But that's it's the real name of of this Baal is Baal Zavul, which means like exalted Baal.
Right. But
in
now
Hebrew,
it's
in
the Lord
Hebrew,
of the
they turn
toilet.
it- now it's well, no, it's Lord of the Flies.
Right.
Lord of
No, but flies are associated with
no, but it's not.
rotting. With
It's really about it's really Lord of the Flies. It's not. It's Zvuv. Yeah, they go
Yeah.
around things that are rotting in toilets, but like that, it's really the Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, Lord of the Flies, but it would you agree that that's an insult? Like
It's yeah, no, totally. They're doing it. It's a euphemism to insult them, just like they do with Jezebel, and which also
Yeah.
comes from the same Zevel, right? So they're changing Zevel there to I guess they're changing Zavul there to Zevel, right? So they're
Yeah.
changing it to trash.
Yeah.
Here
Yeah.
they're changing it to flies.
right. Yeah,
No,
but
yeah,
it's definitely like you change God's name from being exalted to one of bugs.
yeah.
Yeah.
I must answer. Elson Helper is asked, "Where is Tishbite?" We have discussed this at length.
We've discussed it before. Yeah, go back to where Elijah was introduced in
Yeah,
the other videos.
it's
I was,
not
in fact, that was the
necessarily
last time I was
Plessner.
here. That was the last time I was here. Was for that discussion.
Yeah. Say
It is sort of interesting that he's sending them to Ekron. I mean, that's not. That wouldn't have been an obvious choice to me.
but it could mean, yeah, there's debate on what it means because it could also mean the foreigner, depending on how you take it.
On Tishbe, yeah. I'm talking about there's another weird, like a little bit of weirdness here. With like, why is he sending them to this place to Ekron, which is a one of the is it one of the Philistine cities? Yeah, it's one of the 5 Philistine cities, on the border like of Judah, right? But are we in the Northern Kingdom or Southern Kingdom? This is the Northern Kingdom. Why is the king of Samaria sending all the way to the border, to a Philistine town at the border of Judah next to Gaza and Ashkelon? Like, why are they doing this? It's like a weird, like, what's the connection between them and Ekron? I have no idea. They're a trading partner, I guess, on the coast, but I don't know why he would give that specific place special recognition.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so so this guy falls. He has some sort of injury that is laying him sick because he falls through a lattice. And then he sends his messengers to Baal Zebub, to the Lord of Flies, right? The god of Ekron, to find out if he's going to recover from the sickness. But
sorry, I want to remind us of one more thing.
Yeah, great.
Ekron was where the ark was taken when it was taken in battle by the Philistines, and where they sent back golden hemorrhoids or whatever from.
Yeah. Golden rats and golden hemorrhoids. Yeah.
Right. So going back to that whole story. So speaking of maybe poop and flies and toilets and hemorrhoids, there might be some connection here where he's still like paying tribute or like at least spiritual whatever.
Yeah. That's good.
The ark used to be, and it is also like in Amos, which is around, contemporary of this, right? Like Amos, the very beginning of Amos, like there's like God calls out Ekron specifically as one of the as a place where the remnant of the Philistines are and that shall perish. So it seems like they've contracted somewhat from some of their other cities, but Ekron is still like this final final stronghold. In fact, we had that in Samuel 1 and 17. I don't know if you remember this, but like they pursued them from Sha'arim and then to Gat and then to Ekron, and also from Gai to Ekron. So Ekron's kind of like the final stronghold of the Philistines starting in the middle of Samuel 1 already, and like that seems to be hammered in with Amos a little bit.
This is super interesting too, because Ekron with the golden hemorrhoids and tumors, that's also isn't that the place where Dagon fell face down?
I think so. I'd have to check. I think.
It's very interesting. Yeah, just tying that story where God is clearly greater than this other God, and then this is also a story where, why are you calling for this God? Like, is there not a greater God? Yeah. Yeah, so the battle of the messengers of the king are thwarted by the messengers of the greater king. But the messenger of Hashem said to Elijah the Tishbite, "Arise, go up to meet the messengers of the king of Samaria and say to them, is it because there is no God in Israel that you are going to inquire of Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron? Now therefore, thus says Hashem, you shall not come down from the bed to which you have gone up, but you shall surely die." Great stuff. Yoav, do you have anything you want to throw in before I ask Kirk to read again?
Yeah, just that I don't understand any of it. What is this lattice that is falling off? I mean, I don't have a lattice in my upper chamber. And how come we? I mean, the text says in English and in Hebrew that he lay sick. He wasn't injured. Didn't say that he broke his leg. So what was it? Was it a concussion? Then how come he's sending messages?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because if you have a concussion, you vomit and whatnot, right?
Ah, okay.
Right? That's one of the major indicators that a concussion has occurred and that it's a major one is if someone vomits.
So we have a little bit of insight here, perhaps, from archaeology. We know in both Canaanite and Israelite cities, because we actually have some depictions, the elites, and specifically the kings, would have these kind of large windows on their upper balconies that that they could see. Like, think about when the Pope like receives all those people in St. Peter's Square, right? And like there's that thing with the balcony, but there's also this like big window behind it. So like that idea goes back, and we actually have depictions, I think, from Gezer or somewhere, of like the king looking out this like big reception window where he can like talk to the masses. We had this back in the story in Bereshit when Avimelech is watching Yitzchak and Rivka from his window. Yeah. We also had it in the story of Devorah when Sister's mother is waiting at this window with all these women waiting for the soldiers to come back. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so it's specifically that this window would have lattice. We know that because we have like that description both is in the archaeology as well as like the depiction is in the archaeology. The description is in some of these texts have mentioned the lattice before.
People don't have glass at this time.
Like, they don't have glass, but also windows, like big windows are specific to like kings and like part of their palace architecture.
Yeah. And you got to think of as a lattice work as being almost like a tinted window, right? Like because it would also keep it cool to have these things there, but you could also look through them.
Keep birds out, whatever. I mean, it seems that it doesn't. Certainly, the king could look out through them. It's not as clear whether in all these windows people could see back inside or whether it's sort of one way. That's kind of like one of the questions around them. But like we definitely, so this definitely fits what we know and it's a very long pattern, right? I mean, we have it here. We have it in stories from hundreds of years earlier, and we have it in archaeology from hundreds of years earlier. But like, this is a known thing. So it seems like he was standing too close. He fell through it. He broke through it. Maybe it wasn't maintained well, and it, was sort of wood that rotted away. Who knows? He fell through the lattice work, which is kind of probably both embarrassing, but also maybe a sign that the upkeep of the kingdom isn't going so well.
Okay, so again, I wouldn't be able to understand it without Yosef. So good thing you're here. But again, so it's not that as if he broken his leg or as if he's broken his hand. It was either a concussion or a punctured leg or and he felt very ill, and he probably had high temperature, and he was probably delirious. And he made a very queer call to go all the way to Ekron and ask Baal Zvuv. I would not judge him for that. I mean, he was not well.
Yes, but you gotta realize that there's a reason why the first thing he jumps to is inquiring of a pagan god.
Yes, but if he was okay, if it was sitting on his throne, all calculated and healthy and slept well.
I get what you're saying, but there's an idea that there are no atheists in foxholes.
It's also
Right.
it's also a moot point because the last verse of Kings 1 was he served the Baal and he bows to it and he
Yeah.
upset Hashem, king of Israel. God of Israel, and he did exactly what the things of his fathers. He's already a Baal worshiper. This is not like a crazy. We don't have to like think that this is not something you normally do. We don't have to like make up a story.
Right.
There in the verse, he's a Baal.
Yeah, he's hurt and he calls out to the God that he believes answers. Like, and that's why I was about to say the thing about atheists and foxholes, and people say, "Oh, you say you don't believe, but then you're in this situation of difficulty and you call out." It's almost like you
almost
say
like,
that it's
like Scott Adams.
Well, to me, it's what is his first reaction that almost shows you what his go-to is. This is his go-to. His go-to. This isn't a moment of weakness. This is what his go-to is.
Fine, kill him.
I love it. I love it. I love your defenses of indefensible men. I just love it. I'm like, yes, the man was a pagan. Sure. Kirk, my friend.
Okay, what do you want me to start off?
From the word the messenger.
The messengers have returned. The messengers returned to the king, and he said to them, "Why have you returned?" And they said to him, "There came a man to meet us, and said to us, 'Go back to the king who sent you, and say to him, Thus says the Lord, is it because there is no God in Israel that you are sending to inquire of Baalzebub, the god of Ekron? Therefore you shall not come down from the bed to which you have gone up, but you shall surely die.' He said to them, 'What kind of man was he who came to meet you and told you these things?' They answered him, 'He wore a garment of hair with the belt of leather about his waist.' And he said, 'Is Elijah the Tishbite?'"
Yeah, okay, let's pause 1 second. He's recognized by his outfit. I love that there's like, okay, he said this sort of thing. What did he look like? And immediately, as soon as you hear the description, you go, yeah, we know exactly who the guy who wears a garment of hair with a belt of leather.
Actually, so this is a big difference because not big difference, but in the Hebrew, it does not say garment of hair. It just says like someone who is hairy.
Yeah.
And like they've added garment here. Now it could be like someone who like appears hairy, I guess, but like I think the garment of hair here in the English translation is probably an intentional like move by Christian translators to connect it to John the Baptist. But we could also check the Septuagint and see if they have garment here as opposed to just hairy. I mean, it's possible that it was, it predates Christianity and it was, sort of a thing. But the Hebrew does not indicate
that. And also, whenever they say messengers, the Hebrew says angels.
Well, or the other way around.
Yes.
Every time they say angels, the Hebrew says messengers.
Yeah, but I mean, just linguistically, angel.
Yeah,
the word angel is clearly meant to say messenger.
Yeah.
Yeah, Neil is picking up on it. Yeah, this connection would be made deliberately within Christianity, absolutely.
Right. But it's not in the Hebrew, right? So they're adding something. That's the problem.
Right. Yanni, you're the one who cares so much about the Septuagint. Check that Greek. Tell us about his hair.
It could also imply that he's a Nazarite. I mean, that's the other way to read, like someone who has lots of hair.
Right. That he is.
Or you can read it like he's Asaph and he has lots of a man of the forest. Ooh, So that's playing with that's taking the description of being a man of hair, which is Esav, and saying a man of hair, man of the field, I think probably man of the forest, which is the Hebrew for Esav's description, and
Right.
they've taken one phrase and replaced it with the other, which is even weirder.
All of these seem to have the same notion to it, though. Like leather has hair to it, and you do work
Well,
to
no,
get
I
rid.
mean
Like all
this
of
is
this to me sounds like Wild Man. That's what I
this is
mean.
this is not leather with hair. This is already the treated leather work that is not. I mean, this is or is proper, like, you know, like what we wear, like a leather jacket or something, right? Like it doesn't.
Well,
It's been
what do you
processed.
think? Well, what do you think the meaning is? Do you think it's referring to a Nazarite?
We don't have a tradition, as far as I can remember, that he is a Nazarite. It does seem that he's hairy, though, because that's an important point with Elisha, who's bald, is that he's the opposite. And it can't just be a garment of hair, because otherwise Elisha would wear it. So I think he has to physically have the hair growing out of his body. I think that is part of the symbolism.
Okay.
It's an interesting thing because in art he often is wearing either a hairy garment or appears like a Nazarite, and John the Baptist is also a Nazarite from the womb.
No, they just make Elijah and John the Baptist look the same way. I mean, that's on
Right.
purpose.
Yep.
It could also be that John the Baptist wears garments of hair because he's not hairy, but to still look like or mimic Elijah, right? Like that's
Right.
the other way.
Right. Yeah. Do you? So what I was trying to pull out before is if you're linking it with hairy or of the field and Tishabite, like the idea of the foreigner or the that's why I was saying the wild man as an idea that might be carried through there. Do you think that's just absolute bunk?
Not really, because Tishbite literally, even if we take it to mean foreigner, it literally means like it's one who settles. It's not someone who's a wild nomad man. Like a toshav is like a resident of a city or town. So it's like the opposite.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good correction. That's what I want.
I don't think it is a toshav. I think I think it's a stretch. I think, but we talked about that before. We don't have to get back into it.
Yeah. No problem. Okay. So Elijah the Tishabite, who's recognized for being hairy with a leather belt. Why the belt? I guess
It's not a belt. Again,
it's his mantle,
not
right?
good. No, he just has his loins girded with leather. So his normally, you have your robes and they're long, but you hoist them up to do work. You gird your loins, right? If you need to do work in the field or you're doing battle or whatever, to get the skirts off of your ankles, basically, so they don't get in the way. So it says his normal. So he's girded. He has like a leather whatever girdle, basically. I mean, that's the wrong word because it has a different meaning now. But like he's girded them in leather. Okay.
What does that outfit look like? I'm sorry. I'm trying to picture this.
He has his robe on. He's a hairy guy with a robe.
Yeah.
And he has leather straps, kind of. It's sort of like a belt, but like they're on his. They also like somehow go to the thighs as well. So, yeah, I don't.
Like, is he wearing leather pants? What is happening?
No, definitely no pants. No pants. I mean, like we can probably post a picture of someone with their loins girded, wearing a robe. It's probably not too hard to find, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, okay.
If you want to picture it, look at the samurai movie. If you have a samurai warrior and he has his flowing kimono, and then suddenly he needs to get into a battle, then he pulls his kimono up and he has a strap, probably of silk, and then he straps the garment differently, and he changes its sleeve and he straps his sleeves differently. So now with the same garment he can move freely.
Interesting.
Here you go. Where's how do I turn my camera around?
I think you should be able to share
Okay.
things. Can you share?
Oh, I don't know. But here. So you
Oh
can see
yeah,
him
yeah, yeah.
inverting his loins.
I love that
Okay.
image. Yeah.
There you go. So he lifts the skirts, he takes them from the top. It's kind of like it reminds me a lot of people who fold their kilts, right? Where they do these like
Yeah.
complicated moves, right? And then it kind of makes this pair of shorts that you take the ends of the robe and then you tie them. But he's tying that. He seems to be tying them to the leather of the belt, or he's using like a strap there to tie them. That's all. Okay.
Yeah, I was playing dodgeball at my church one time, and this is way back in the day, and I something that I wore here. This is it larger for people. What I was wearing. Can I make this bigger? Yeah. What I was wearing got ripped, and I had to put on. Like they showed me where the Lost and Found was, but there was right next to the Lost and Found where costumes were for like Christmas plays and stuff. And so I was playing dodgeball in a shepherd's robe that we had. And very quickly you learn about how you have to run in a skirt, right? Like it's not the optimal outfit for running and dodging. Dodging, ducking, ducking, dodging.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bring this back.
Okay. So they find.
Okay. Let's continue on, shall we? Kirk, would you
Then the king sent to him a captain of 50 men with his 50. He went up to Elijah, who was sitting on top of a hill, and said to him, O man of God, the king says, come down. But Elijah answered the captain of 50, I am a man of God. If I am a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and consume you and your 50. And fire came down from heaven and consumed him and his 50.
let's pause a moment. You
Just
gotta.
I have a question related to this. Is there
Yeah. Go ahead.
is there some sort of gematria related to 50 that you think is relevant, Yusuf?
What was the question?
Is there some sort of gematria of 50 that you think is relevant to this?
The only thing I can think of offhand is Moses coming, on the mountain 50 days, and they're finding this guy at the top of the mountain, 50 guys, maybe. I don't know. It feels a little weak. I think more this is this like parody, right? So like we had this first story where the king is sick, but he doesn't send to Elijah, which sort of reminds us of the story where the boy is sick and the mom, and they send to Elijah for help. So that's clearly the opposite. And now here we have this like kind of version of the Carmel battle, right, where the fire is coming down from heaven. He's at the top of the mountain. So we're kind of having like this repeat of these stories, but like in a very different way. Sort of it's almost more of a, I don't know if it's more of a playful way, but I don't know how to put this. It's like they're much shorter and they're kind of just pointing you back to those other stories. And it's just like last time there was all this drama, there's all this buildup, but this time it's just like, oh yeah, God struck 50 guys down with fire. Let's move on. Same old.
It is. This is. I was wondering if it was just me that this is funny. This is funny to me. His response, which I really get from, like the way in the story where he fights Baal and calls down the fire. In that story, like he is outright mocking, and here, like already Baalzebub, already we have a joke in there. But this sarcasm of the prophet, if I am a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and consume you and your 50. Like it seems so casual.
Yeah. And it's also like, with the Baal one, there's this whole question, like, how could he like set a test for God and like command God to do anything? And like, it's so wrong. No one talks about this time. And this time he literally says, I shall bring down fire from heaven. It doesn't say God will, right? Like, if I am the man of God, I shall bring, which is like much more problematic and explicitly problematic.
Yeah.
than like the showdown in Carmel's story is.
Yeah, he just says it. Also, the notion of consuming. Okay, so on mountains, it is you are more likely to get hit by lightning. Like there's many stories of like hiking expeditions that become dangerous because if you're on a mountain, you're the highest point and all this other stuff. But the idea of the consuming fire, like when I'm trying to picture this, because some people will say, oh, the fire from heaven, that is just like, yes, lightning is described as fire from heaven. But this, I don't know, it seems like it's more to me. Like,
yeah, it's also weird because it says it consumes him and the king, like including the king, but then the king is alive and talking. So they just start getting hit by lightning over and over. You know, like
No, what king?
So, because so you're thinking it's the captain? Oh, maybe. Okay.
No, yeah, it's the captain is bringing the message from the king. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a captain of 50 and his 50 men. So
שר 55
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that guy's hit.
It's going to happen again and again and again.
Yeah. Now, to answer Neil, it says, isn't 50 half of 100? This is thinking like a Roman. I think this is an indication that at the time, I mean, the Hebrews used to think in terms of 50s and not in terms of hundreds because of the 50-year cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, the armies was much smaller. You don't split your army into hundreds because it's a small army, so you split into 250s.
Mm-hmm. My last name is probably a reference to something like this. Is Busuttil is a lot of people think it's Abu Satin, like a bastardization of the Arabic, because like I'm a descendant of Moors. Abu Satin probably means father of 60. That 60. It would be a commander of probably about 60 people is probably my ancestor.
Yeah, because Malta is small. You don't have hundreds.
Yeah, you divide it into 60s. I don't know why 60s, but either way, it's either that or my grandmother was quite the woman, if it's father of 60. This humorous pattern, it continues on. I do want to honor what Don is saying, which is he didn't actually claim to be doing it himself. He calls it, but he doesn't say from me.
He does say, "Ani tered, I shall bring down. Ish min hashemayim, fire from heaven."
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Right, verse 10 in the Hebrew. If I am they changed it. The English does not say "ani tered." They've made it into a passive, let fire come down. But in the Hebrew it says, I shall bring down.
No, I dispute you.
You disagree with "ani tered"? Okay.
אם איש אלוהים אני, stop, תרד אש מן השמיים.
It that way. Okay.
What is your reading? Do yours in English.
He's moving the comma.
Okay.
He's probably right. Because of the trope. I'm wrong. I retract.
Okay. You heard it here first. Yosef is defending the English translation. Okay. Kirk, next section. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
From 11. Again, the king sent to him another captain of 50 men with his 50. Then he answered and said to him, O man of God, this is the king's order. Come down quickly. But Elijah answered them, if I am a man of God, let fire come down from heaven and consume you and your 50. Then the fire God consume his 50. Again, the king sent the captain.
Okay, pause. Why'd you mumble through that? This is good stuff. Okay, this is. This is not those kings that Yoav was speaking so poorly of before. This is good stuff. This makes me laugh. I like that they put it as, it sounds to me as a more forceful command, right? This is the king's order. Come down quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to throw their weight around.
It also implies that they're not at the top of the mountain, right? They're telling him to come down from the top of the mountain. So your idea of lightning hitting the top, this would be very weird. Lightning hitting the bottom and not the top.
Right. Yep. Yeah, it's true. He's clearly above them. Well, we had this image from before too of the king going up on his bed, and will he ever come down?
Right. And this whole vertical notion of this chapter where everything's about going up and going down.
Yeah, coming up, coming down. But it's if Elijah comes down, then the king will come down from his sick bed,
Maybe.
like in a positive way. It's a
God
coming
also tells at the beginning when God's messenger, angel, whatever goes to him,
Yep.
it says, "Get kum ale," right? So he basically tells him to go up, but
Yep.
it seems like it sounds like he's supposed to go up to the king, but instead go up to the messengers, but instead he goes up to the top of this mountain. So like and he understands it as like climb the mountain, and the messengers will come to you.
Well, he goes up, tells the messengers, and then goes to the top of the mountain, because it's the messengers who first go to him, and then he said that's where we get it's the hairy dude with the belt. Go get him, or with the girdle. Sorry.
There might also be another reference here. So I was curious where this captain. So captains of 50s come up a lot in the Torah when it talks about captains of 10s, 50s, 100s. But last time we had it was in 1 Samuel 8, when Samuel is warning them, a king will be bad. He'll do all these bad things to you, and he will appoint chiefs of thousands and of 50s. That's it. Just those two numbers, and they will to have them plow his fields, reap his harvest, make his weapons and equipment for his chariots. So it seems like in some ways this might be a reference to not just like the fact that like having units of 50 is normal, but specifically to the way that the king is misusing his people as soldiers. Because when we get the third group of 50 and they pray, like it seems that they're sort of doing this because they don't have a choice and the king's making them, right? Like they're soldiers. I mean, they're being commanded, and like there is this sort of the king is abusing, like you asked for a king and he's going to abuse you through his captains of 50s type of thing.
Yeah, he's going to do the thing that kings do. It's interesting too because in this particular version of the story, this does not look to me like the text has any sympathy for these men of 50.
Well, when we get to the third group, it sort of does.
Yeah, but the other one are essentially like henchmen in a James Bond movie. Like they can all get killed and we don't feel bad.
They're non-player characters, right? They're NPCs. Okay, like they died, and I mean it is pretty callous. We can agree with the on God's statement there. The text is not very sympathetic to them for sure.
Yes, yeah. But also, I'm sorry, it's a bunch of men showing up with weapons who are threatening. I also don't feel bad for them. Like that's the whole thing about the characters in the Bond movie is that they're bad guys. You don't feel bad for the people with guns who are going to kill you just because they're commanded to. Like you don't feel bad about that guy dying.
Okay, so Neil asked whether the Hebrew system was decimal. Yes, because the word for 50 in the Bible is composed for 5 and 10. So, I mean, it is clear by the language that the basic system was decimal. Also, clearly, the word in Hebrew for 50 very much resemble for the word armed. So 50 will be chamishim and armed will be chamushim. So if you have a group of 50 people, it sounds as like if you sound a group of armed people.
Right. Like a mob.
Yeah, not armed. I mean that they come with weapons.
Yeah, not a mob. This is the basic military unit, and even from when they leave Egypt, they leave in chamushim, leave in with units of 50 armed. Yeah.
Yeah. So in Hebrew, there's a link between armed and 50. It means that it was a very deep rooted practice. I'm just thinking aloud, why just have two sorts of groups, 1,000 and a 50?
There's numbers in between. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think in the battlefield, I mean, until the Roman system, you didn't have very sophisticated command system. I mean, you have the king, and the king is ordering everybody's about, and everybody's just sort of charging. I mean, it makes sense in a battle to split into people into thousands, because you cannot actually control them any other way because of lack of sophistication. So when do you use 50? You use 50 for police work. It's just enough a group to come into a village and make a dent. So I think this is why they are NPCs, because every villagers, if he hears about a group of 50 coming from the king, immediately he hates them.
I like that. Okay, Kirk. Rule of 3 in jokes and Bible stories.
I guess the other question is, I do have a question, and maybe I should think about. I don't know the answer. Why? Why? Okay, so you have this guy who says, "Isn't there God in Israel?" And he's like, "Oh, that's the famous prophet that my dad hated." Or my dad actually didn't really he hated at some point, then he didn't hate, but he definitely hated my mom. Whatever it is, what is the why are they sending 50 guys? Are they there to kill him, to arrest him, to bring him to the king for what? What's and it's a lot of people to capture one man. So obviously, you could say it's the basic unit of police work, but 50 people for one arrest. What do they think he's gonna do? They know he's dangerous, and then he's more dangerous than they anticipate, I guess. But it's a weird. I don't know why they want him. Are they gonna bring him to execute? Is that, should we assume that?
Yeah,
we had it before, just in the chapter before. If you don't like the prophet, you throw him in jail.
Yeah, you lock him up, you take him away. Well, and this story, in my opinion, is going to be compared to Elisha and the bears, the she bears, and in that, there's a way of interpreting the young men, the young boys, as I believe is incorrectly translated, that there were young soldiers that would have been considered a classification, where they're a particular kind of.
Well, when we get to it, we'll discuss it.
Yeah, and in that story, there's an implication of going up to worship at these high places. So it, to me, feels like the king is going to strong arm the prophet. And it may be to try to get the prophet to do what he wants, but so you send people in the name of you as king, that it's God is going, your God, Hashem is going to listen to what the king has to say. Send the men with the swords and the spears. Send the group of people, the military group, to go and tell him you're going to do what we have to say, right? It wouldn't be you think of this. I'm thinking about what Yoav was saying before. This kind of a group of people would be sent to villages to make them submit for taxes, for whatever. If they're in a state of rebellion or whatever, you send a group of 50 like this, they show up, they're scary. They do their torturing, their pillaging, and they make you do what the king wants. Doesn't work like that.
I think it was actually 49. It was 49 and a commando. It was not 51. It was 49 commando. That's how I read it.
We agree.
Yeah, and that is generally how the counting system, right, in Hebrew works for the Jubilee years and for other things. It's 49 plus 1.
Anyway, because when you march into the village, you march 7 by 7. Mm-hmm. Now, I agree with you that this king is really evil. Now I agree with you, because now it's clear. Now it's clear. Yeah. Now it's clear to me. He doesn't believe in God at all, absolutely, and he cannot but accept the miracles that were done on the Carmel mountain. So I think this is a magician, and if I'm ill and I need somebody to cure me urgently, then what I need is this magician.
Yeah, get him on side. Make him do what we have to say, and you can
And
threaten him with the sword. You can threaten him with a spear.
anyway, what do I have to lose?
Yeah, yeah. And so he's casual about it. These guys are sent. If he doesn't agree, you do whatever. These military guys, they're not gonna. Oh, he said no. If they're gonna beat the crap out of him, they're going to torture him. They're going to do whatever to bring him forward. That's what these guys are trained for. And he just casually, like, this is almost like a superhero thing, right? Where the guy with the superpowers dispatches them without any effort whatsoever. He just, like, he says a word and then boom, they just ignite into flames. Like, yeah, it's brutal. Okay. Kirk, come forward.
Again, the king sent the captain of a third 50 with his 50, and the third captain of 50 went up and fell on his knees before Elijah and entreated him, O man of God, please let my life and the life of these 50 servants of yours be precious in your sight. Behold, fire came down from heaven and consumed the two former captains of 50 men with their 50s, but now let my life be precious in your sight. Then the angel of the Lord said to Elijah, Go down with him, and do not be afraid of him. So he arose and went down with him to the king and said to him, Thus says the Lord, because you have sent messengers to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron, is it because there is no God in Israel to inquire of his word? Therefore you shall not come down from the bed to which you have gone up, but you shall surely die.
Okay. All right. Pause a moment. Don, people are now on my thing, on Leviathan for play instead of Jacob's. So if you want more interaction in the in the comments, that might be where you want to go. Yeah, I like that the third guy comes up. Please do not light us on fire, man of God. That yeah, the pleading. And Yosef, you think that it has much more sympathy for this guy?
Yeah, I mean, he's asking, find, like, I mean, it's quite literally, like, Tikarnana Shafa, right? Like, that our souls be worthy, or may you, like, not even that, it's more than that. Like, that you find, like, he's pleading with him to find him, like, worthy of being alive, of our souls, like, having worth, not
Mm-hmm.
just, like, being NPCs to throw away here. And I mean, right? And then, of course, God says, like, that's the guy to go with, you know. Um, he's clearly sympathetic to your cause. Like, he clearly recognizes the power here.
Right.
And, like, is pleading not just for his own life, right, but for his 50 men.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. It feels like it's definitely more sympathetic.
Well, this sounds exactly what we were talking about a second ago, Yoav. That this is a guy who does not believe that his authority is greater than the prophet. Like, they're really recognizing that the prophet is representing Hashem, and that Hashem has the authority and the ability to just wipe them out like nothing, like they're flies, one might say. But instead, treat us as people.
Comment. The first sentence in this chapter is about Moab
Rebelling.
harassing Israel. What is the connection? Because immediately the sentence after is starting the real story. So what's the connection? I think at the time the king didn't have more than the 350s in the capital, because most of the army was be facing Moab.
So we're gonna get to Moab's relevance, but it's like this is really interesting. So that's chapter 3, and it does feel like this story is sort of inserted in that, like, in a weird way, because, and if you remember, like, we haven't heard from Elijah in a while, like chapter 20 or 19, somewhere, like, way back when he said that Jezebel was gonna die and Achav were gonna die for stealing Nevat's land or whatever. I think that was the last time we heard from him. And then he appointed Elisha, right? We haven't heard from him in a long time. So like there's this like story that seems like out of nowhere almost. Now there is, as people pointed out, like there is this large chiastic structure that covers this entire section of Kings, like through the Achav, Elijah, Elisha stories. So like the fact that there are things inserted to make sure that structure holds is not pretty. There is a question then of like exactly what the timing was, if this like was inserted intentionally by the author, like if it was exactly here or somewhere else in the story. It's important though for the timelines of you need this guy to die so Jehoram is king for the next part of the story, and then like that feeds into like the chapter 3 story because Jehoram has to be king for the fight, the war with Moab. So like there is this like weird intertextual layering here of the structure that like is building up to, yeah, we're gonna get to the war of Moab, don't worry. In fact, we're gonna get to the guy Mesha of Moab who's gonna give us the Mesha Stela, which talks about Israel, right? So like that we're building to it, but we're not there yet.
Yeah. My big giant cat is joining us now. Oh. I'm enjoying this conversation. I'm upset that we're coming to an end at it, but need to be. Okay, finish this off. Will you, Kirk?
Yeah. So he died according to the word of the Lord that Elijah had spoken. Jehoram became king in his place in the second year of Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, because Ahaziah had no son. Now the rest of the acts of Ahaziah that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel?
Are there any thoughts on the idea that he has no son?
What do you, well, it's the end of the dynasty, right?
Right. But that's.
So no, I mean, it's his brother, so it's not really the end of the dynasty, but it's.
But it feels, yeah, that there's
that line. Yeah, it's a little reset.
How old was he?
A good question. I probably have to go to Malachim. Sorry, to Divrei Hayamim to see how long he ruled for. I don't know. Can't find it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, if he was the eldest son of Ahab, then he couldn't have been very young.
That's a good point.
Why didn't he have no sons?
He only rules for 2 years. Really good.
No, I don't know. It's interesting. Okay, I think we've said everything that we can right now without doing further research. Thank you for joining me on such a fun passage. I was worried I was just going to be alone, and this was a very good group of people, including in the chat.
Yeah, we got Yosef. Wow.
Yeah. we really lucked out. Joseph, if you're like super sick tomorrow, you let me know. I'll stream again.
I mean, yeah, I'm sick. I don't know. I'm sick in my bed, just like the king here. Hopefully, I'll get down.
Yeah, you'll come down. I think you're good. Just don't harass the Lord's
Yeah,
prophets.
I'll send some soldiers to get you.
That is, I'm so honored. I'm so honored. I don't know if I'm hairy enough. Yeah,
You don't need,
hairy.
you need to figure out how to gird your loins. You know, that's all. Once you get that down, it'll be good.
Yeah, I'll figure that out. Yeah, this is great. I love Dog is saying, not that we're happy Joseph is sick. That's true. True. May the Lord grant you health. Bless you with health. Okay. This is a weird story. This is a story where God does seem pretty open to killing people left and right. And it is. I do think we should be talking about it afterwards, related to the men who are killed by the bears, because there's ways that God shows that Elisha has a double portion of Elijah's spirit, right? That the spirit that was on Elijah, it'll be a double portion that's on Elisha. And we have these other stories of like
Alicia.
Sorry.
It's easier to differentiate them if you pronounce it right.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it so confusing when they pronounce the same way. I don't know. I mean, in Hebrew, it's obviously very different. Elisha and Eliyahu are like pretty distinct. But
yeah.
Call them like Elijah and Elisha just drives me nuts.
Yep. Yeah, it's not a good time. Okay, so a double portion of Eliyahu's spirit, and so we have these stories that are similar or specifically lined up to show that, like the story of the resurrection of the child, and this is an example of calling down God's fury to me it's about protection. So I'm not particularly bothered with, in context, him just casually calling down fire from heaven to kill a bunch of dudes.
Yeah. I will say also, like, and you keep focusing on the doubling. It's really just, I mean, it means it's his firstborn. I mean, adopted. So like he's basically the adopted firstborn of Allah.
Right. Receiving. Yes.
The other prophets were the other kids, right? Like Eliyahu doesn't have any children. These are his children, right? This is
right.
Potentially also the kid in that he saved. Remember the kid who was also in the upper story in a bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that story is so parallel to this too. I mean, I don't want to forget it. Like when he goes up to that kid who's in an upper story in his bed, who hit his head when he fell, right? Like it's the whole parallel.
Yeah.
And in that story, like the Midrash says, that's also a child of Jonah in a sense. Sorry, a child of Eliyahu in a sense, not his actual, but like, it's associated. That's Jonah, according to the Midrash. That kid is Jonah, right? Mm. So like, you never know. I mean, Jonah's kind of like this captain, right? Like doing orders. And, I don't know. There's a bunch of interesting little connections there. But.
And I know that story is the. It's lined up with the Torah portion for the binding of Isaac.
Is it? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Anyway, and we've been talking about this before too, where there's the sons of the prophets, or these like the lower, not the main guy, your secondary figures. So he's going to become.
They're also in the. And this is when we see the emergence of these like schools. Like the prophet runs like a little academy, like prophet academy, like like Plato's academy, right? Like they're training others to be prophets. He's
got a theological. It's a seminary, is university.
Yeah, but they're really considered like the children. Like they're literally the children of the prophet. Like in some sense, like he's adopting them, and like he becomes their. Like that's why they're called B'nai Nevi'im. That's because they are like. Functionally being adopted as the children of the prophet. They can still also have family. They're not like totally cut off.
Right.
Though it is possible that in the Second Temple period, people did understand them as actually losing their family connection, and it might be one of the bases for some of the stuff in the Qumran community, but also for early Christianity, where Jesus will say things like, "You can leave your father and your mother," because, like, in some sense, you're becoming the child of Jesus, and not, you're not part of family in some sense anymore.
That's
So
interesting.
there is an argument there that they did understand this, and that they basically probably took this model, but they were also reading it through the Roman kind of paterfamilias kind of and the Roman adoption of law, and it becomes like you don't get shared, right? Like you're under one jurisdiction, and that jurisdiction now is the leader of your little, your prophet is now your person.
Yeah.
So I think there is probably a shift, but I've seen some indications of that in some of the academic work on what kind of early Christianity come around stuff. So I want to mention it. It's definitely
That is interesting. Yeah, I do
it's
think really
past
is.
time.
I love this comment. First off, what is your shirt? Is it a kitty cat with unicorn?
No, it is. It's a unicorn for some tech company that thought it was a unicorn. I don't know if it actually. I don't know if it really was, but they were famous.
Alexander the Great is a unicorn in the Bible.
My dad loves when I wear my unicorn shirt because she thinks it's so funny that a grown-up man will wear a unicorn. So it's my pajama shirt today.
Yeah. Cassandra, I feel like you're saying something much more deep and existential than you're intending to. Every week, David is terrified he will be alone, and every week people show up. That is, you know what? You know how you could do a description of your YouTube channel? I think I want to go in and change this to what the description is. Is it just says every week David is terrified he will be alone, and every week people show up. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's poetry. Okay.
Virtually not alone.
Virtually not alone. There we are. If Grim is still here, that's for you, my friend. Okay, thank you, everyone. We'll be back next week for Chariots of Fire coming down.
I hope I'm not sick next week, but
I do. I hope you're so sick.
I want to be in that conversation. I just hope I can do it without being sick. Maybe take a break from work for my lunch or something.
Yeah, an absolute favorite, and the conclusion of Elijah as a character. Yeah.
Well, sort of. He has a sequel.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But are sequels ever as good as the originals?
That's a funny thing for you to ask me as a Christian. I don't know.
Oh, that's beautiful. What a beautiful ending to this episode. Goodbye. I want that to be the ending. I'm not going to do this like garbage ending. We're ending there. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.